Hey guys, it's Joette with BalloonCoach.com, and today I am so excited that on October 1st, 2025, we have Dori Saypol with us to give us some wonderful information. Dori has been in the industry since 2002, so she has loads of experience working on having systems in place to give her customers excellent customer service. And she is Total Party out of New Jersey, and also Total Party Plans, where she has all these great resources for folks. So I appreciate Dori taking time out of her schedule to show us how you can set up business processes without a customer management system. I know several of you who are on do have a customer management system, and then others prefer not to have a CRM yet or just not ready for that dive. So I'm excited to have this training available for folks who are at a point where they don't want to jump into a CRM yet, or they may never have one, and they want to just have some systems in place to make sure that everything runs smoothly with their business. So for those of you who are on live with me, I would love for you to type in the chat if you do currently have a CRM, which CRM you use. And if you don't have a CRM, put no CRM, just so that way we kind of know who Dory's speaking with today. And then as a thank you for being on live, at the end, we will have a live open Q&A. So without further ado, Dori, I'm going to turn it over to you and stop my share.
Okay, sounds good. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm always happy to share. I will literally share my screen and talk you through how I run my business. Feel free to ask questions at any point. Um, this is how I do it. This is how my brain works. Um, if if it doesn't work for you, I totally get it. But this just well, I'll walk you through how I do it. So I have a project management background. So right out of college, I started temping in Belcor, which was like the research arm of the phone company, and kind of fell into this whole project management world. Um, and telecommunications was not a fun industry in my mind, but I could apply it to events and parties. So I kind of adapted the project management life cycle to like my business life cycle. So that's the slide that we're looking at here. And it kind of walks you through a project. A project could be a party, it could be a big event, it could be a small event. And this I scale based on how big an event it is. So when I started my business, I did full on party planning. So it was everything related to the event. So I did invitations, I did centerpieces, I did balloons, I did sign in books, sign in boards, place cards, candlelighting, like one stop shopping, full on event planning, mostly for bar and bat mitzvahs. So having a process, a detailed process was helpful when there were so many things to manage. Now, if it's just a simple like balloon order, like this is a very simple streamlined process and I don't necessarily go through every step. But I'll go through it, and if you have questions, ask. If you want me to show you like how I do any of these steps, I can stop sharing and actually show you how I do it. So for me, like it all starts with the inquiries, right? We want the inquiries for balloon deliveries, for balloon setups, for decor events, whatever it is. And so all of that marketing, all of the networking, I do showcases, however people can find me through social media, parades, community events. Like I want all of that to funnel into my website. So I want them to go to my website and fill out my contact form. And you'll see some of the items I have on this slide here are caps. So anything that I have in all capital letters is like a form or a tool that I think everybody should have. And it doesn't have to be the same tool, but just have some sort of a tool, like your website, your contact form. Those are things I think most of us have. So however they find me, I want them to go to the website. And then we email back and forth. It could be a phone call. Sometimes it's a Zoom. Um, and rarely it's an in-person meeting. I had a room next to me, next to my office. I call it my meeting room, where before COVID, I would literally sit with clients and plan their event. And now it's my inflation room because nobody comes to visit. We barely do in-person planning meetings anymore. So mostly via email, sometimes via phone. We discuss the event details, what they're looking for, when the event is, where the event is, and decide if we should work together. So if yes, like then I move on to the next step. If I'm not available, if it's too small of an order, too far away, like then I refer to somebody else in my balloon network. And we have a pretty strong balloon network here in New Jersey. We've rebranded our QBN chapter to the New Jersey Balloon Network. And there's about 20 of us who are in this chapter who actively meet once a month and help each other and share ideas and tips and tricks and swap balloons and all that kind of stuff. There's probably another 40 or 50 balloon people in New Jersey who have not yet found our network or are not the kind who believe that collaboration is better than competition. So there's a lot of us in New Jersey. But moving on. So we get to the next phase. Yes, we're going to work together and I'm going to send them ideas. So they can look at the website. They could look at my Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest. But if they don't and they say, I'm having a whatever theme that I only want to see pictures for that theme, then I would send them like a PowerPoint presentation or Canva proposal, or if I have a catalog, like all of those things are basically interchangeable. Coming from the corporate world, I love PowerPoint. It's what I learned. It's just like you're looking at a PowerPoint slide now. It's a Canva slide. It's a catalog slide. Like it's just any kind of graphic slide. And no matter what it is, I save it as a PDF. So however you make your PDFs, it could be via PowerPoint or Canva or whatever. So I send that to the client, give them all these ideas, and they tell me what they want to order. So then I put that order in QuickBooks. So itemize line by line. You're getting this pedestal centerpieces, 6 of them at this cost, this columns, this itemize everything, QuickBooks, setup fee, if there's tear down, and notes like clarifying we're not responsible for anything that happens, weather clause, all those kind of fun things that you would have in a contract. I basically put in my QuickBooks invoice. Though there's a link to pay right there. When that payment comes through, like then I have an official event. Then it's real for me. Then everything kicks in terms of put it on the calendar, right? Again, I use Outlook. A lot of people use Google, whatever your calendar of choice is. It goes on the calendar. I also keep a list of all of my events in Excel. I think Chris Potts calls it like Chris Books. Like it's a list of all the events so I can look visually like when I have events. And in Excel, I could add a dollar amount and just kind of in my head keep track of, am I meeting my monthly goals? I could show you that if you want. Okay, Joette's giving me the thumbs up. Yes. So then I add it to my PowerPoint slides. So PowerPoint is almost my CRM. I don't really call it a CRM, but it's just a whole bunch of slides, and every slide is an event. So, and I'll show you this too. Every event gets a slide, so I know what I'm delivering. And then I print out that slide and tape it to the crate that I put all the balloons in for that job. So it's very visual, and I could see, what we're making. Also, all the emails that are coming in from the client get in an email folder, in Outlook, in my email system, they get a folder. So it's like 2025, here are all my events in Outlook, and everybody's email kind of gets nicely categorized in their folder. So this is like the beginning of the planning phase, which is like the critical phase of any kind of event, right? So the better you plan, the easier the execution is going to go. So a lot of things happen in this proposal and then planning phase. So moving on to what I consider like really planning is, if it's a big event, I make a spreadsheet for estimating how many balloons I need. So I literally have 11-inch white, 11-inch navy, 11-inch goldenrod, and I fill in, and I could show you this too, what it is, 6 columns or 8 columns or 10 columns. And just so I have a quick count, So when I go pull those balloons and throw them in the crate for that job, I know if I need 600 white, I'm throwing in at least 6 or 7 bags of white, right? So it's just a way to quickly see what I have at hand, what I might need to order. If I do need to order, I go to my shopping cart, Rainbow Balloons, and throw those in my online shopping cart, whatever time of the day it is. That's why online shopping is amazing. And in that spreadsheet, I also have a column to show what poles and bases I need. So I can make sure I have enough poles and bases, especially for outdoor decor. Um, Thinking through, like literally picturing where I'm putting this decor. And is it inside, outside? Is it on a knot lamp? Is it on a 16 by 16 paver? Is it on an air pole? Like thinking through all of the structural stuff needed. And then ensuring staff is lined up. Who's helping me? Am I inflating? Is it small job I'm inflating? Is it bigger job? Am I getting help? Who's going to be there to help me set up and deliver? Reserving trucks. If there's a room diagram, that's always helpful for a venue that I haven't been in, or if it's going to be set up in some interesting way. I like to visualize, where is the decor going? Is it on a stage? Is it in the corner? Like I want to know where everybody is to make the room is balanced, the decor is balanced. Like I love room diagrams. Venue contact. I want to know, who am I calling if the door's locked or whatever. um Day of schedule. You can never have enough schedules, calendars, like figuring out when I'm leaving, when I'm driving, when I'm getting there, um what time the client is arriving, uh to get that first look picture of like, oh my gosh, you've transformed my ballroom and it's amazing. um and even confirming the table count. They're like a week before with the client. Like I've had so many times where they've said, oh, I think it's going to be 10 tables for this mitzvah. And then they forget to tell me that when they actually sat down to do the seating arrangements, it turned out to be like 15 tables because this one couldn't sit with that one and whatever, whatever. So checking when it comes to delivering centerpieces, double checking the week of is always good, I found. So that's all like behind the scenes planning. And then comes the executing. For me, starts when I actually inflate balloons. So I'm inflating, I'm building, I'm bagging. Once everything is prepped, ribbons tied onto weights, like all that I could do, like literally everything I could do ahead of time is done. Then I go through like the packing list. And I have like checklists for packing lists, but I like to actually think it through. Like I know I'm delivering 6 columns and they're already on their poles, or the poles are in, but the bases are separate. So I'm literally listing what I'm delivering and what kind of structure, if anything, I need with it. And like take the balloon crate, take my apron, take my scissors, take, literally thinking through as I'm installing, or whoever is like helping me, what are they handing me? Is it a 260? I'm grabbing my clear 260s. They're always coming with me. Like just thinking through, making my packing list. That's the way I do it. Traveling and install, like tracking mileage, we install it, make sure a client is happy. Do you need anything else? Do you like the placement? Everything is good. Take the pictures, look at the pictures, adjust organic, make sure those spirals are right, actually double checking the pictures before you leave, telling the venue staff when we're going to be back if we have to pick up framework, returning the truck, come back, unpack those crates, um, label the helium tank. I put a little piece of tape on the helium tank with what PSI, how much is left in that tank, so I know how many more balloons I can get out of it. I put the mileage for each job in my phone. I can show you that too. I literally put it as an event, like an all-day event at the top of my list, my calendar of the mileage, and that syncs to my calendar here on my desktop so that when I get back, that's a reminder to put that right in QuickBooks. So that works well for me. And then making sure things get back into the toolbox instead of the crate for the job. That's all like the executing phase. And then closing it out is like, thank you to the client, like usually an email, like it was such a pleasure to work with you again. If you are so inclined to leave us a Google review, here's a link right to my page. Super easy. to use that link. Those testimonials show up on my website. I add pictures to the Instagram, which automatically posts to Facebook. Every week I have a recurring event in my phone and my calendar to update Google My Business. That's usually like a most current event um, posted there. I try to add those pictures to my iPad so that I could bring that with me when visiting the next client, and eventually, like every so often, literally update the website. I put a note on my calendar if this is like an annual event and it's something that I want to remember for next year. For that PowerPoint slide that I created for the event, I don't delete it. I actually move it to like the last slide of all the slides. So like it's kind of like cyclical, right? So next year I'm going to go through all those events. It's going to come back around, right? So I saved it and I remember exactly what I made this year and can recreate that next year if they want the exact same thing. So that's kind of like a reminder. So I don't delete that. I just move that. And then the client's email, if they're a new client, put them in my MailChimp database. I'm trying to get better about email newsletters. And that folder that I created with all of our back and forth content, email exchanges, gets archived into like finished, done. That event is done. So that's kind of my process. And it doesn't take long. Everything moves through these steps fairly quickly. Especially if it's a small event. If you're just delivering a couple columns, you don't need to go through, like mentally think through all of these steps. But for the bigger events, it was helpful to kind of have a process. So these are all the tools I touch. These are all the things I managed, and just kind of, I could easily access, anything along the way. Any questions so far?
So guys, I sent you the notes, which is this form that she has up on displayed for you that says total party sales process. So I just put the link back in the chat again so you can download that for yourself and have it. And Dori, I think we would love to see those things that you mentioned as you went through. Hey, I can show you that. So if you're able to kind of go through the process and show us the way you have it, that would be amazing.
Okay, sure. Let me stop sharing this one. Let's stop share.
And then Chelsea, I'm not sure about your what was moved to the last slide question. If you want to open up your mic, if you're able to get that answered.
Do you mean my event that I moved to the last slide?
It was just a question that.
Yeah, I see. I see your question. Yeah, maybe she can explain. Okay,
Okay.
so
So yeah, go for it.
going to share, and I will click on. Okay, clearly I have too many windows open.
And then if you guys aren't able to click on the link today, maybe you're out driving a car, the notes will be in with the replay also. So you'll be able to get those.
So my contact form is part of my website through WordPress. So my husband is fairly tech savvy when it comes to websites. So that's how my contact form is built into my website via WordPress. So somebody's question.
Okay,
So
and so since in most people that have customer management systems, that then shows up in their CRM. So when you have that contact form and they fill it out, where does that information go to? Is that emailed to you?
yeah,
Or
so
does
that
it?
shows up in my inbox. Yeah. Yeah, and he has it set up so that I can automatically reply to that person, the email that the person
Okay,
enters in there. Yeah,
perfect. Thank you.
sure. I mean, I could show you the website if that's helpful to show the contact form, but it's a pretty standard contact form, I think, like everybody else's.
Right. Yeah, I think the main thing was just wondering how you had that set up, and it's through WordPress.
Yeah, it's through WordPress, but it does email to me. Um, and I prefer email conversations. I mean, I can easily keep track. I could sort. I could, like I said, they get a folder. So I kind of can organize email efficiently. I like email.
So you put each client into their own folder?
Yeah. Yeah. So like in my Outlook, I could create email folders. And so I have a total party folder, and under that I have 2025. So all the events that are happening in 2025 each get a folder. So each client, like a filing cabinet, so every
Right.
client gets a folder. And then as they're finished, I move them to the folder called done. That's in 2025. So hopefully by December 31st, there are no open client folders in there. Everybody's moved to done. And I have, 2026 started and put in clients for 2026 where we're, in conversations now. So in terms of like how my brain works to keep details of every party sorted, like this is PowerPoint. I'm wondering why I can't change the view. Oh, there. So like every slide is an event. Okay. So like this one is for an upcoming event in November where she finally just decided what she wanted to order. And I literally took the pictures from the proposal that I had sent her. And this is a subset of what she's decided to go with. So I pasted what she's ordering into this slide, and I pasted the words from QuickBooks. So in the invoice where I itemized everything, I copy and pasted each item that she's ordering. So I have what's on the invoice and what was from the proposal, the photos here, so I could remember exactly what we had talked about and what I'm delivering. So each event has a slide, and what I was saying was like for this one, if this slide does happen again next year, I'm going to move it to the end and I'm going to save it so that come, November next year, I'm going to remember what we did. Obviously, a bat mitzvah is not going to happen again, but like we have East Brunswick Day on this Sunday. So like I remember what I did last year, and I literally like copied that slide and pasted it up here because we're doing it again this weekend. So I have it with the date, like they're picking it up on the 3rd because it's 9 feet tall and won't fit in my vehicle. And I didn't want to charge them for a truck. So the township is picking it up on Friday. The event is Sunday, and thinking through everything I'm bringing for my tent, for the balloons, decorating my tent. And I always set up a table next to me for the kids to do decorate my balloon craft. So they hang around my booth a little bit longer and I could talk to the parents. So we have a fun free activity for East Brunswick Day. So this is me like brain dumping everything that I need to bring. Like this is my packing list for this event. So yeah, all the details and pictures for every event I kind of keep here. And I refer to this daily. Like this file is always open. Like this is what I'm looking at like this week, what I'm delivering, what I've ordered, anything like that. And anything in red is something I don't have ready yet, or it's not in the crate yet. Like there's a method to the madness. There's some systems here. So red means don't forget to throw this stuff in the crate. In terms of calendar, let's see if I stop sharing. So when an event becomes a real event, I put it on the calendar. And one of the calendars I use is just an Excel spreadsheet, which is this one. So I simplified my real 2025 calendar to show just a simplified example, but it's literally an Excel spreadsheet listing the events here. So the date of the event, I used to keep track of how many events I did a year, like as if that was a way to see if I was growing. Like literally, like year one was like 10 events, and so it not that I think dollar amount matters more than how many events you do, but just I like data. I like information, and so that's what this kind of provides in a color coded format. So When an event goes on the calendar, I just type it in. It's black, it's not bold, it's not italicized, right? So this is an event that I know is happening, or I think is happening. I've sent them the invoice, I'm waiting for payment. When payment comes in, I literally change this to like italic. Like that's just my way of saying this is really happening. They've paid. It hasn't been delivered yet, but they've paid, and this is a real event happening. Once I deliver it, like this one for this past Sunday, I literally change it to blue. So I format it like I know it's done. I've collected everything. She's paid. It's wrapped up. The crate has already been like unpacked. Like it's over. That to me is like, okay, move on to the next. So like coming up East Brunswick Day, it's green. It's a donation. Like I'm making, they're not paying me like full price. It's for a sponsorship. Um, so I've given them an amazing price. But that's really happening on Sunday. And so yeah, so this is how I keep track. And I put a dollar amount associated with the job. So I can do like Joette recommends and keep track of how much I'm making monthly and how much is my average sale, for the month. It does not include sales tax because that's not my money. It's literally just the revenue that is for the job. I like to know where it is in case it's places that I find I'm always going to like this part of New Jersey or that part. Like I like to keep track of sort of where things are to sort of see where I'm working. And I like to keep track of the type of event. Like I want to know, am I doing a lot more schools? Am I doing more mitzvahs? Is it more birthday? Um, so I created like a little pivot table over here, and this like it refreshes every time I make a change here, so I could easily see, um, can you see, like, should I make it bigger? Like literally,
Yeah, where you've got the information of it being baby, graduation,
yeah,
school.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So just a summary of like, what am I doing more of? Is it mitzvahs this year? Is it corporate this year? And as the year goes on, I could see um where I'm doing more business.
And
Uh,
just to clarify, as far as your tracking of how to sort out when things are finished, upcoming, or in progress,
mhm.
you do that all through this spreadsheet versus doing that update in the PowerPoint. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, yes. So this is how I visually see that this is finished and like this is upcoming. I mean, in PowerPoint, it's chronological. So the earliest slide that I'm looking at in PowerPoint would be also what's coming up. So like this weekend's event, the next one coming up is literally the pickup on Friday. So that's my first slide. And then chronologically, all the events after that um,
And
are in
and does
PowerPoint.
it only go into the slides what's an actual event and not a proposal?
So I could sometimes I put a placeholder with the date and the name if I think it's going to happen and I want to like hold the date in my mind, hold the date, not literally hold the date for the client until they pay, but just holding that date. Like if somebody says, um, I've used you before and I want to do something with you for, X date, I do make a blank slide as like a placeholder, but not like I don't create a real slide with information from the invoice and the proposal photos until it's real.
Thank you.
Sure. Um, so Excel, like this, another file I have open all the time. Um, the PowerPoint open all the time. Um, what other things can I show you? Um, yeah, I I live with those things open and I live with my actual Outlook calendar open all the time. So on my Outlook calendar,
And if I can interrupt you before you show us the Outlook calendar,
Yeah.
one question that came up was, do you track the orders that don't go through, like the quotes that weren't accepted, that were canceled or unpaid?
I don't track the ones that were not accepted. I do track the ones that were accepted but not paid. It's very rare that we don't get paid before we go and deliver balloons. That only happens when it's like a school and it's a PO that we don't get paid in advance. And if that's the case, that we haven't gotten paid in advance, we'll go back to my calendar, then it's red. Like anything in red on this Excel calendar means I didn't get paid yet. So then I have to follow up and be like, hello, the terms were, net 60. Why didn't we get paid? But I don't per se track. It's very rare that I put a whole proposal together or Canvas slides and we don't go through with it. Like I only do that for clients who really like we've worked together before, or there's a fairly good chance they're not just shopping around. Okay, so going back to what I was describing with the calendar, the other thing I have open all the time is my calendar. So what I was explaining before with the mileage, I could either enter it on my phone or enter it here and see if I can refresh. The events that are at the top of my calendar are all day events, not assigned to a specific time. The all day events I also use as like to-dos. So anything that's here above like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, is like my to-do list. So I do something and then I drag it to when I've actually gotten it done, or I move it to like another day. So sometimes it just gets moved or migrated, and that's okay. And sometimes everything gets done. But by the end of the night, like I don't leave things at the top. By like 9:30 at night, I'm like dragging it to tomorrow. It didn't happen today. Let's aim for tomorrow. Or it's everything is like been done. So these like some things are recurring things every single day that my goal is to try to get to, like declutter something every single day is not work related, but just something that I have on my list that I want to do like every single day. And if I don't get to it, like I don't get to it, but I try not to beat myself up. But then I like color code things also. So like green is work related, like literally like making money or financial related is green. Home projects like yellow. Fun things like self-care fun things are like pink. Healthy things like I should do a workout every day or a doctor appointment or like blue. So I can visually see like is this a crazy work day or is this like a light work day? Like is this a fun self-care day? Like I hope some days are lots of pink. Then I feel like, oh, that was a good day. But it's always open, so it helps me to see all the things I need to be doing. Um, and the fact that like the mileage I could put on my phone in the car and it shows up here, and then I literally would take this open QuickBooks, go to mileage, and pop that in. Um, I could show you how I do that if I stop sharing this part. Did I stop sharing that part? Yeah. Um, right? I could show, oh, session timed out. Okay, hang on.
Dori, can I ask you a quick question?
Of course.
Yeah. So are you inputting all of this information into that system, or do you have someone else doing that?
It's me.
Okay,
It,
so you have someone, and then you have others.
say that one more time.
I got muted again. I'm sorry. I said, so you have others doing like the inflation and the delivery and setup?
If it's a bigger event, and then I call people in to help with inflation and delivery and setup.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Since COVID, I mean, the insanity of COVID where 2021, 22 was totally insane. And then I started like traveling more, teaching more and things. So like it became more manageable for me to do the inflation on most events. For bigger events, I do call people in, and for setup times, I do have a list of people I could call for helping with the setup, the on-site when we have, a small window to set up.
Okay.
But in QuickBooks, so now I remember that, I went 16 miles today. I literally open QuickBooks and add a trip, and it was today, and it was 16 miles, and it was a business thing where I dropped off balloons or I do delivery and save. And so I created that, and then I literally go to Outlook, which I don't know if I can can you see that now? Did you see that I switched to my calendar? Or do I have to stop share and reshare?
Right now I'm seeing your QuickBooks.
You're still seeing QuickBooks. Okay, so stop share. I go back to my calendar. And because I did that, I put that in QuickBooks. Like I literally delete that event. So yay, something comes off my list of things to do today. That's been tracked where it needs to be tracked. And I could delete it from my list. So those are the things that I have open all the time. And really how I run the business. I mean, I think this works for a company that's like 250,000 annual revenue or less. Like I think this is manageable. I think once you have full-time employees and a lot more thrown at you, like if you're moving fast and furious, like I could see where a CRM to help you really push you through the process would be helpful. But at this point, I'm happy where I am, and this is the system that works for me.
And I think also, Dori, it helps because you are not a business that's going after like huge dollar amounts of sales a year, correct? Like you're kind of at a point where you're doing the business to be able to work alongside with your family and things and not be working 80 hours a week on a regular basis.
Correct. Yeah, survive that and don't really want to do that again. So I'm managing it at this size where I want to be for that reason.
And a great question that came up is, what is the number one reason that you don't have a CRM?
Oh, I've tried a few, and honestly, the CRM for me is really, I guess, that database is really the only piece that I want from a CRM, which QuickBooks kind of fills that. I have all my info, I have my customers in there. The process that I have is working. And so I've tried to implement, it was more steps, it was a lot of setup, it was a lot of like to get me back to where I already am now. Like, so I don't really want to go back. What I have is working, and I can keep on top of where every party or event is in the process, where I think that the purpose of a CRM is to get all those leads in your funnel and push them along the sales process and close those deals. Where I have a way of doing that, like this process is working for me. And so adapting a CRM to work for me just seemed redundant, I guess.
And and this point, this is how you've built things over the last 23 years. So you're
Yeah,
used to it. It works efficiently for you because you know how all the pieces go.
exactly. If there was something that could take what I have now and make it better, I would not be opposed to that, but I haven't found a tool yet that works the way my brain works, that I wouldn't have to then do more work to get to where I am.
And so, Kara, to clarify, she was asking, how do other employees use this as well? This is something you do on your own because you pretty much run your business independently, correct?
Correct. I mean, when I need to communicate with people about what they are inflating or what I need them to drop in the balloon crate, like it's that PowerPoint slide of everything we're making, and I put more details in there, or I pull out a recipe and say, you're doing 11 clusters at 2.5 on the twin air sizer, 6 times to make me 6 columns, so we communicate with pictures and recipes for inflation, but nobody else sees my finances and bookkeeping and QuickBooks and that kind of stuff. And no one else checks my email. That's me.
Awesome. Looks like the questions have been answered so far.
It's all doing. No, ask me more questions. I'm happy to share if it could help someone.
All right.
So
Oh,
if you're ever,
Go
because
ahead, Chelsea.
this had came up recently, if you're ever at a job and somebody like, because sometimes we bring balloons in our inflator and sometimes we don't, but if you ever have somebody do you go to all your jobs with your people, like, and help? Okay, so that would be the answer. But let's say you didn't. Let's say you just like sent out a team or had somebody go drop something off for you,
yeah.
and somebody there was like, hey, we actually need an extra column if you're, or we need something here. And they told them like, hey, we could do this. But if they don't know your pricing or something, would you just like direct them to have the client call you and add it to the invoice? Or my thing is like at events, I don't know how to add on after they've already paid another item. And especially if somebody else is doing it, or even me, I don't know how to be like, yes, now I need more money. I usually end up just accidentally giving it to them if I'm like, sure, here, you can have these extra whatevers. And I hate it when they do that, but then I'm kind of like, don't have the vocabulary besides the word no, and I don't want to say no. And so I'm like, what do we do here?
I think you can always say, no problem, I will invoice you later. Like, I think that is totally acceptable. Like, tell them that they will be invoiced for it. It's not for free. But in my 23 years, I've never had anyone say, oh, I also want a column over there. That's why I love floor plans. That's why I love planning. I love like seeing things. I love knowing what the plan is, confirming what the plan is. But I've never, I take that back. I think there was one bar mitzvah where she did not tell me that there was an extra table and I bring extra of every balloons. It was figuring out what I was going to use for the weight, like hiding a weight underneath a balloon base. And I was like, this is when the client was not there. So here we are setting up before the client's there, the DJ's there, the caterer's there, everybody's there, the whole room's getting set up, and we're like looking at our watches and like, there's one kid's table that will not have a centerpiece. Like luckily I was there, but I was like, I can't leave one table without a centerpiece. Like that's just silly. So I was like, I will make it and I will invoice her. And I wanted to be there to tell her that. But it's like we were finished. I was ready to clean up. I was ready to go. And I was like, I had to make the call. Like, I was making a call. Like I had a feeling she would pay me for the additional one. Like she would understand that it was silly. That it was her fault for not telling me that there were 11 tables, not 10. Um, so I made it, and I had to chase her down after the fact to get paid for that extra centerpiece, which was really uncomfortable, and I really hate doing that. And
So,
I have no leverage. I've already done it. The event is over, and it's you
yeah.
know
Chelsea, one of the ways I know many other people have handled it, and I've even done it myself, is it's like, oh, you want that extra thing? Money. And with today's way of being able to do PayPal or Venmo or whatever, if you need to, or like with your phone, you would have access to QuickBooks. So, like with her using QuickBooks, she could send an invoice right then and there with her QuickBooks and be like, here you go. Here's $250. I'll make you the other centerpiece right now, but I can't inflate it until the payment's made. In today's world, when I'm seeing so many people not pay for what they're supposed to do, that's one way to handle it, is just to say, yeah, pay me now, and then just type it up as quickly as possible on whatever payment processing you do and have them send the money. Because with credit card right then, within 3 minutes, you can be paid and then add that other thing on. And if not, then I would have something in writing.
even
If
if
you're not going to
the
take the payment then.
yeah, I mean, I don't really let people pay me through Venmo and things like that for the business, but if that's the only way and it's the fastest way and they could literally send you money right now, you could always transfer it. You can do the invoice later, you can transfer it into your bank account later, like into your business account. But the easiest, fastest way to say, okay, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, how do you want to pay for that?
Right. And then this for other like future for other situation wise, if I have my family member or one of my, we're gonna call him an employee, my family employee dropping off and they don't know anything about my pricing, just refer to me, and then if they know how to make it, they can make it, but they don't have to worry about telling them how much it is. Just talk to her and then I am the middleman there then. Okay. So I don't have to
Yes.
tell them the pricing, because I was like, I do not want to try and teach my mom how to price these balloons out or drop numbers. She called me. I was like, just let me talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
that's the best scenario if you're available.
okay. Good to know. I guess I knew. I just needed to be, yep, that's it.
So there's a couple other questions that have come up, Dory. One is, have you ever thought about building your own CRM on the back end that does everything you want it to do with your husband's expertise?
Hmm. Um, I have not. Um, it's kind of like a lot
It's
of
a
back
lot
and
of work.
forth. It's so much work. It's so much work.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
and honestly, from the people that I know who've built CRMs,
yeah.
it's an ever-going process and it's never what you want it to be. And when you try to do the technology side, it's crazy. So like I honestly know 5 people who've tried to build them and it's never worked out the way they wanted to because tech is so crazy and ever changing. So I just know
Yeah,
on that side.
it brings me back to the days where I first wanted to make my first website and just communicating what I thought a website should look like, 20 years ago. Like, no, it should be like happy and good colors and like branded and consistent and just communicating all of that. Oof, it's a
Right.
lot. It's a lot. How do you handle
And
SAP?
yeah, so another question is, how do you handle SOPs, recipes, or the steps to the process? Do you have binders to execute those steps? Um, or are you putting the actual recipe like into your PowerPoint?
So I do have recipes printed out. Um, in the past, what I've done is taken that PowerPoint slide. If it was like, we're building this spiral column with a 3-foot topper, I literally put the sizing, and how many clusters at what size. So that becomes my recipe. I do that for the same thing for like a centerpiece that we make. Sorry. A centerpiece that we make over and over. It's a picture of it and it's okay. It's a picture of it and the sizing. So I have those printed out in a binder and I take that out. I mean, sometimes I go as far as going into Chris Adamo's tool, like and changing the colors of a column and taking that image and putting it on the slide and saying we're making, 6 of these. And then I've had it where people have come to help me inflate and they make the picture they see and not what the words say. So I've now learned that the pictures should match the words. If it's red and white, don't show them a picture of a blue and green column. So that those are like my simple recipes, and I do have those printed out. And I really try to streamline. I mean, there's so many things that we could make clients. I really try to offer the same kind of style centerpiece. You know, columns could be striped or spiraled or blocked, or but it's the same sizing, the same structure, and then garlands, we make the garlands the same way, and arches, like arch size may change. I'll tell them how many clusters I need, if it's 20, 30, 25-foot arch, whatever it is, but it's typically a picture and the sizing and the colors, and the recipe. And then we do have that. Like even when I do organic, like it's sized organic. So I may hit the foot pedal 3 times to get for my 18-inch balloons, but the settings on the machine don't change. So I finally am getting smarter in terms of how to keep things somewhat consistent, and super easy when it comes to making designs. And a good
Thank
friend
you.
once told me that people don't care as much as we do. People just want balloons. I think it's Misty who's on the call here. People just want balloons. They don't care if this one is 17-inch and this one is 18-inch. And we agonize over every single detail and every placement of everything. But if you just keep going back to people just want balloons, it takes that pressure off and everything's going to be okay.
Oh, I love that. Tammy put an awesome comment in the side, so I wanted to see if Tammy's able to open up her mic currently to share that information, or if I need to read it. Tammy, you still on with us? Are you able to open your mic?
There we go. I had
You
quick
can
switch
read what you
screens.
wrote. I just wanted to come
Oh,
from you.
oh, sure. What did I?
You can look back on what you wrote. Are you able to see that or no? Oh, she went. You're muted.
Okay, there we go. All right, where's my chat? You're right. Oh gosh, hold on. Okay, so the reason why I think Dory's system works is that she's a trained project manager. So she already has next level project experience. So I, working alongside Dory, I just learned so much from her. When I'm working with somebody, and one of my employees, because she's been in my shop several times, she's like, Tammy, if you have to explain it once, it should already be an SOP. So literally now I have sheets in my van for standard operating procedures on how I want to clean the van, how I want to have the whole system in place. So I don't know, huge fan. we we all need to just seriously take Dory's advice so well. Our business will level up.
I love it, Tammy.
Anytime.
And
I
that
appreciate
is one of the things too with Dory, is that she is very organized. And so in the past, she's helped me out with some different projects with Balloon Boss Summit, with just, having a nice schedule, having the workbook put together. And so she has that eye for detail. And so I think that's one of the things that we always talk about, hire your weakness, that if you're not good at putting systems into place and to having the spreadsheets and things like that, then doing this system is probably not for you. And you're better to go with a CRM where everything's kind of laid out, and hire somebody to help lay that out for you. But I really wanted Dory to share her systems and show you the spreadsheets and the things and the way she does it, because especially for people who are either new to the balloon industry or people who've been around a long while but haven't jumped into a CRM yet, or maybe you're in a CRM and you're frustrated, this gives you another option of oh, you can have business systems and you can have a way of doing things. It's just you have to be structured and you've got to put your plan in place and then follow the grid that she's put up for you. And you might change things around a little bit, but it gives you a structure and a way to do it without having to use a customer management system. The other key, I think, with this is that Dory is not a huge company where she's got a salesperson out there selling for her and a takedown crew and a setup crew. Yes, she has people that will come in and help her from time to time, but she's not operating on that large level. So she doesn't have to worry about that. But even if she was, she could operate her system still and then have people doing the other duties without having to have access to all of her information, and that she would just share the part that she needed to with them. Maria had asked that she stated that she likes having a CRM for payment, invoices, contracts, and contact us forms. What do you use for these items? Which I think you cover most of that because your payments go through
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks, correct?
Yeah, invoices
So
are
that's
all
where
in QuickBooks. Yeah, payments are all through QuickBooks. I could pull reports from QuickBooks. Yeah, everything is in there.
and then your contact form is coming through your website into your email.
Right.
And then as far as invoices and contracts, is that set up through your QuickBooks?
Yes.
Excellent. Yay. All right. So guys, we are coming up right at the hour point. So I want to be respectful of Dori's time and anybody else that's on. If you guys have another question for Dori, feel free to ask it now. And then if not, I will head over to the after party. So guys, if there's anybody on right now that has another question specific to what Dori shared, please let us know. And then Dori, I want you to share how people can get in contact with you and the services that you're currently providing to the balloon industry, because they're awesome. So before I stop the recording, please share with us the other things that you do for the balloon industry outside of running your own business and sharing great tips.
Yeah, there seemed to be a need for a balloon industry calendar to keep track of training. So I created one with the help of the husband. And so it is literally balloonindustrycalendar.com. So if you do want to know about training, it's all the training that I know about. It's all the training in the balloon industry. It could be sorted in person versus virtual. It could be sorted like twister classes versus decor classes, Spanish, English. You can look at it at a calendar view or a list view. And I'm happy to keep updating it with all the events that we know about. It's kind of light in November. Virtual Summit is on there. The most important one, right there. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to add any training that you hear of. I'm encouraging distributors, manufacturers, everyone hosting balloon training events to tell me about it and post it here so we can get more eyes on the event and grow our industry. Besides that, my love of calendars and stickers has led me to Total Party Plans, where it's literally sharing some of the things I've created for myself, where I can make stickers to kind of make my calendars look pretty, because not only do I use my digital calendar, but I have a paper calendar too. So these are words that I find I write over and over and over. So I make stickers and I just use those in my calendar, my paper calendar. So yeah, so just some fun, kind of combining my love of stationery and my balloon business, and combining them for the best of both worlds.
Yay. All right. Libby says that she loves your calendar and thank you for having that. And Josie says that she always has that tab open, is checking the balloon calendar often. And I do appreciate that you've got that amazing resource for us, because it really helps everybody stay in tune with what's going on and be able to find stuff. So again, guys, if you're ever hosting a class, or if you have a balloon distributor that's hosting a class, make sure that you let them know to add things to the calendar for everybody to know about. And then the last thing that I just want to share with you guys, if you didn't know, Balloon Boss Summit 2025 is going to be a virtual experience. Dori is one of our instructors for that. She's been an instructor for me in the past at Summit and has continued to be a part of the team for this year. So if you haven't gotten your ticket yet, you just go to BalloonCoach.com, you click Virtual Summit, and I have kept the price point at the $299 rather than going up to the $500, because I know economics are kind of crazy right now. And so I wanted you not to be fearful, keeping it at the $299. It's 3 days live online. Yes, it will be recorded. So just like with my Balloon Boss Mastermind program, everything that you go to during the main classes during the day, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, will be recorded. The evening sessions that are from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, Those aren't going to be recorded because we're going to be in breakout sessions, but we will have a workbook with notes, and those evening sessions are more of a time to work on different things that you're needing to do. So within the workbook, you will have, it's a digital workbook, you'll have all the things that you can work on that would have been happening during that time. So I wanted to let you guys know that that is there, and thank Dori for being a part of that team and for continuing to share all of your knowledge with the industry and help people out. It's awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Let's see. Yay. And somebody's saying they're looking forward to Summit 2025. Yay, me too. It's going to be a lot of fun. So November 2nd through the 4th, 2025. So Dori, any last closing words for people who currently don't have a structured system yet and they kind of just let everything flow in? What is a piece of advice for you to help them take that first step in getting a system in place for their handling of their clients?
I would say look at the sales process that I have mapped out and take pieces from that. Like figure out what works for you and how your brain works, and like just make a simple process. Get all those clients in and take them through the process and just kind of note what works for you, and it'll just happen over time. You'll just realize you are doing the process. Like it will work. And
That's
don't be
awesome.
afraid of spreadsheets. Like spreadsheets are your friend. And if you need help with spreadsheets, let me know.
Dori loves helping people out. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn off our recording. For those of you watching this as a replay, please know that you can always go to BalloonCoach.com. There's a 10-minute free session that you can sign up for to ask me questions, to interact through Zoom, or you can email me, joette@BalloonCoach.com, to share with me other speakers that you want to hear from, other topics that you'd like to hear about, or to become a part of our online virtual summit for 25. Be a part of Balloon Boss Mastermind or any of our other trainings that are coming up. So guys, have an awesome day, and I hope you enjoy this information from Dori. Thank you so much, Dori.
If I need to make it bigger, tell me.
The question came up asking Dori how she knows what to put on her packing list. And no surprise, she has a spreadsheet for that. So she has a basic spreadsheet that's already made that then she can go in and edit and change.
So this spreadsheet is like what I need to order, or what I need for the job. So I just got this job in yesterday. She paid the invoice. So I'm like in hyper mode of like getting this all, planned out and ready. So I have on the left, like what she's ordering, and it's 2 organic columns for the lobby where it's a really low ceiling, 2 organic columns that are going to go around a step and repeat that will be fuller. I'm going to do balloons on the sides of her like LED marquees, and then like fill this enormous ceiling with helium balloons. So I know what I'm making, and then I put the colors and the sizes at the top of the spreadsheet. So when I go to pull balloons, I can pull what I have and order anything I'm missing. So I literally started this and haven't finished this spreadsheet yet, but just thinking through, I want to include like 18-inch hearts, 4-inch heart. Like the theme is like love and hearts, and it's navy, silver, and hot pink. So searching for what is made in foils, hearts, and all that fun stuff. So this is just me like thinking through the design, what I'm going to use in my design, and then thinking how many of each thing I need, and just let the spreadsheet, add it up. And then I would take those totals and go pull the foils that I have and make a note of anything that I need to order. So figuring out like for the ceiling, it's going to be mostly latex balloons, and figuring the calculation of how many balloons it will take to fill like a 12 by 12 box. And there's 3 boxes. So just doing that kind of calculation and then putting in the 3 colors. And I want some small hearts dangling from those helium balloons. So just like thinking through, what it's going to look like and how many I need. I use this spreadsheet, and like I haven't yet thought about the design. I mean, I know from my PowerPoint slide. I have a photo of the inspiration she sent me of like, it's going to be Maddie with a heart. I think love Maddie. She's stacking LED marquees. So I'll put balloons, on both sides, up 2 levels of letters. So I have to think through then, okay, for my organic, I need 218 and 411 per foot, and it's going to be approximately, I would estimate, like 15 feet of garland on each side. So just, plugging in the math, plugging in the numbers in the spreadsheet will then help me figure out what I need to go pull in terms of balloons. So this is how I do it. And I bring this down with me where I have like my overflow stock of balloons. If it's not enough in the room next to me in the wall, like I go down and pull my foils and everything else.
Thank you
So
for
if
sharing.